She's getting that shit. And then we got the Impact World Championship match. We got Eric Young taking on Rich Swann.
It's going to be fun. Never thought I'd want this match as much as I do. But I do. And as much as I love Eric Young, Swann's taking that title. Eric didn't break his leg for nothing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree 100% with you. It's like, this is not a matchup I would have written down myself if I was putting together a pay-per-view. But with Eric the way he's been lately, and with the history between Swann and, yeah, like you said, getting the leg broke and everything, and
Eric's going to look so good for so much of this match. You know, Rich is always going to be fighting from underneath because of the leg.
Oh, Eric is going to be targeting that leg. I'm hoping it's going to be a complete storytelling match like I love. You know what I love, Paystee.
Oh, yeah,
you know
where it gets a little bit hard to watch at times even.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think Eric has built up what he has. I've always said Eric is a cornerstone. I don't see him as a champ. Even right now, even as vicious as he's been, he just doesn't. The championship to me doesn't look right on him. Rich Swann, he looks like a champ. If you were going to build a pro wrestler, Rich Swann is one of the 5, builder wrestlers that you would have in your stockpile. He deserves it. He has the story. He has the comeback story. In fact, he's coming back from getting robbed from his comeback. So, hello, what better can you get, especially at Impact's WrestleMania Bound for Glory?
For free.
Rich Swann. For free if you tune in now to Impact Plus. And it's not a waste. You'll not only get this weekend's events, but you'll get an entire month of amazing pro wrestling matches, as well as various other independent matches that are on Impact Plus that are not just Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
There's our cheap plug that we don't get paid for. Yeah, I go with Rich Swann also, but I think this could just be awesome. I'm excited to see what these two, conflict of styles comes to mind, because these are two very different folk, but man, they're going to put on, I hope at the main event of Bound for Glory, they put on one of the best matches of the year.
Just think, Vince, you could have had this on NXT. You could have had it.
He had them both, and he let them both go.
And that brings us to our tiebreaker.
Yes.
Will an ex-WWE wrestler from within the last year show up in the gauntlet? That's 8 open slots. You kind of left it open. You wrote the question. I'm going to say sure. Or did you want me to be specific?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, that's literally what it is. It's like there's all these ex-WWE wrestlers floating around. I think that's a good tiebreaker. Yes or no? There's plenty of Impact wrestlers and independents to throw in there that maybe it wasn't. And there's plenty of ex-WWE wrestlers who we know Impact and every other company, including AEW, is willing to market. So to me, that seems like a 50-50 question, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. We like it. And that brings us into this year's Hell in a Cell, Paystee.
Yes, indeed. And only one match has been added since this morning.
I was just going to ask you if you had any what do you have?
It's probably going to be the first match, so we'll just kick it off with that.
Let's do it. I'll type it, you tell it.
All right. Remember, there was a draft, and drafts are important for drawing lines of where you can and cannot go. So this match is Otis with the Money in the Bank Championship with Tucker versus The Miz with John Morrison in a singles match for the Money in the Bank contract.
Versus Miz with Morrison, you said?
Yep. And it's for the Money in the Bank contract.
Well, okay. First of all, let's say two things real quick. First of all, Otis has the Money in the Bank contract, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't watched WWE, but isn't Otis out and Tucker in as a luchador who has the Money in the Bank contract?
No.
Am I making that
Tucker's on Raw by himself, and Otis showed up on Raw as a luchador with the Money in the Bank.
Oh, Otis showed up. Okay, so what's his,
La Gorda something? Yeah,
Gordita Grande.
Yeah.
Okay,
which was amusing. I'll give it that much. I liked it.
I seen the picture of it, and the mask didn't seem that creative, but maybe that's just me.
Honestly, if it came down to it, and Otis had to choose between his buddy and the contract, keep Heavy Machinery together. They're so good, and Tucker ain't gonna do nothing without him.
Right, and let's be honest, Otis is a fleeting thought. He's not gonna do anything without it either. As soon as his Money in the Bank is gone, dude, think of Elias, think of Baron Corbin, think of anybody else who's had it that we knew nothing was gonna happen. Come on.
Yeah.
Otis is
Otis ain't gonna do nothing with it. That's a given. But Otis as a character, I think he's good. Otis as a wrestler,
I don't dislike him as a character. Yeah. I just don't think that Vince sees him as anything.
I don't know. I've read recently in different sittings that Vince is both very high on Otis and Elias.
And yet they're both where they are. What does that tell you?
Elias actually released his second album today.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah.
So we got Money in the Bank contract, Otis with Tucker, Miz with Morrison. Let's start with you, Paystee, since you're the one that told us it existed. What you going with?
It would be so cool if they teased splitting Otis and Tucker to have the Miz win the Money in the Bank and then feud with Morrison going into WrestleMania.
Okay.
I gotta go with the Miz. That's good. That's so good.
And since I knew nothing of any of this storyline going forward, I will pick Otis because you picked the Miz.
All right. That's a guaranteed point for Paystee.
There you go. We like it. We move on to the only non-gimmick match that we know of, at least, and they could gimmick it up before Sunday. Jeff Hardy versus Elias. Why the fuck are we having this match?
It's a guitar on a pole match or something. Because Elias has been out since Jeff Hardy's drunk driving escapades, whatever, and Elias thinks that Jeff Hardy hit him with the car, even though it was Sheamus or whatever the fuck we found. I don't know.
Oh, that happened, didn't that?
Yeah,
that was a long time ago, too, huh?
Yep, that's long-term storytelling in WWE for you, Fat Mack.
Yeah, and yet I don't give a shit. I'm going with Elias for no reason.
Yeah, I'm going with Jeff Hardy for no reason.
Good shit.
I think Elias should win it because he did release that album, and he's just making his comeback now. And
I didn't know he released an album, so I'm feeling kind of a little bit more confident than I was.
Well, you gave me the point on the first match, so I'll give you the point here. Happy birthday.
There you go. We love it.
Then we have the WWE Championship Hell in a Cell match, seeing Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the millionth time. And this time Orton has to fucking win it. Because why? Why?
Yeah, the question is why. The answer is Drew McIntyre. If you have something last this fucking long, I see it, honestly, to me, I see it pausing here with a McIntyre win and then being a WrestleMania match that Orton wins. Like, they've teased it for so long.
Wouldn't it make so much more sense since you're building McIntyre that Orton wins it here and Mac wins it back?
Does it? Yes. But before you interrupt me, I was going to say I'm getting shades of Sasha Banks Bayley.
Yeah.
Where they're not doing what fucking makes sense.
That's WWE this year in a nutshell. Just like Andrade and whatever, or Mysterios and Rollins. Like, they're not doing the formulaic 3-match rivalry. They're doing you win, 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 and only it's a one-sided story, and I hate it.
Yeah, so that's literally what I'm seeing here, and also, fuck Orton.
No, I want Orton to win it. That's, yeah.
And then
we have the SmackDown Women's Championship Hell in a Cell match, seeing Bayley versus Sasha Banks. This should be the main event. It's a story they've been telling the longest and the best, and, well, I guess maybe not the best, but
the longest for sure.
Yes.
It's like my ex's old boyfriend. You know, he was the longest, but he wasn't the best. If you know what I mean. Yeah, for sure. You know, this one's hard. This is a flip of the coin because we don't know what they've been doing with this whole. I don't think they know what they're doing with this rivalry at all. But I'm going to go with Sasha Banks winning the title at Hell in a Cell because this is literally my only reason for thinking this. I think WWE still wants to put some more Snoop Dogg in WrestleMania. Honestly, like I don't know. I don't know.
And looking at my prediction, I don't know why I didn't pick Sasha either, because I think here at this point, it's a pivot in this storyline that's going to go to Mania. She should win it. But
this
since I think they're going to do that with...
we agree with that.
Since I think they're doing that with Orton and Drew McIntyre, yeah, I'm going to stick with my original choice, and I'm going to say Bayley wins because it's too much of the same if they don't. I
honestly prefer Bayley holding on to the championship, but I do think this is still going till Mania. I really do see it. They haven't built anything else up. They've given up on their women at 100, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
the women's division is Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka.
Yeah, they topped the PWI 100, but WWE's given up on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then we got, at least as far as we know of the last match, Universal Championship Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Basically, after the last match we've seen between these two, I am actually super excited. Other than the fact that their last match wasn't I Quit match, right? Because Jimmy threw in the towel?
That was my brother quits match.
Okay. Nonetheless, I really think this is going to be a great match. These two, Roman as a heel and working with Jay, has brought out the best in both of them. I am fucking in love with this feud. This is the best thing that's happened to WWE in years, literally. And who would have thought, even though we all said they should do it, who would have thought that it's actually good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tantalizing and tasty. And it's definitely a new breath of life for Roman Reigns. This is kind of a clear, decisive thing, because I think there's still stipulation that was going to be added tonight, because when the match was made, Roman Reigns said there would be dire consequences to this match. And it's got to be more than just I quit. So
maybe he loses his blood relation.
We're taking your blood.
We're taking your blood out.
And injecting him with COVID-infected blood.
You're now going to become a rotunda. They'll never know what to do with you.
That's great. My biggest gripe here, though, is the announce team still doesn't know which Uso they're dealing with. And they just fall back on saying, Uso does this. Uso does that. It's like, come on now. There's only one of them.
Right, at least say their name now. I get it. We don't know their names.
This is the time when all the fans can learn the difference between the Usos, finally. And you're not working it right. I don't know. It's going to be a good match, though. I think clearly Reigns wins. I do see some fuckery where Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and The Undertaker all show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's they've almost